The way, I don't, let me put it this way, I'm not anxious to start a religious war. I have found over the years that the persons involved, both in gang stalking, I've made it a point to get to know these people. I've had to necessarily. I'm not the type to...
You're talking about the perpetrators or the targets?
Perpetrators.
Okay.
As well as I've been drawing distinctions. And what I have found is that the perpetrators appear to belong predominantly to one particular religion, whereas the targeted individuals do not belong predominantly to that particular religion.
And what is the particular religion of the perpetrators?
Right. So at this stage, again, I'm not particularly enthused about the idea of starting a religious war, and I have challenged other TIs to get out there and become acquainted with, get to know the people who are harassing them.
Are the protocols for each individual modified based to custom tailor it for the specific targeted individual? And if so, how does this process work?
Yes, indeed, they are modified. There is a basic protocol that the perpetrators begin with, but the TI contributes to the modification. A good example of that would be if someone, I'm trying to think of a good example. If the TI feels a need to cooperate, even in the most subtle fashion, with persons who are harassing him or her, he or she will modify his behavior in Pavlovian condition, which alters the protocol. They're constantly, targets are constantly monitored, and if they respond emotionally to a particular trigger, that will be built into the protocol. If the target displays a certain sense of guilt or embarrassment about a subject, that will be built into the protocol. It's an ongoing process. And one thing I want to emphasize is no TI should look for a reason as to why this is going on. That's a serious, serious mistake. I know that it's a natural tendency. I did that myself when they started on me, and over the years, I came up with probably 6 different excuses.
Is it still going on with you?
Oh, yes. Not to the degree that it was before, but certainly in very lethal form.
And how has it hampered your life?
It's come close to being lethal on a number of occasions. I've dealt with gang stalking head on, and essentially put that to rest. I deal with, I've developed a means for communicating with perps directly and for making them feel like the trailer trash that they are. So gang stalking is not one of their favorite activities in my case. The primary activity now is to see what I can survive in the way of an induced brain aneurysm or stroke or a heart attack.
And I just had a caller call me who doesn't want to get on the air, wants to know, does moving help? Moving your location?
Running, if you're talking about moving to a completely new location, no. This country is wired to the hilt for immediate transfer. Your protocol follows you wherever you go, so it's a waste of time. Moving about physically in place will not change anything, other than if you make a 180-degree turn, you will notice that the targeting will suddenly stop, and because the weapon systems are programmed to focus on a particular area of your anatomy, and if you turn, the targeting will suddenly end. If you turn back, it will hit you again.
Now, going full circle in the last 2 minutes here, in 1991 you published Microwave Harassment and Mind Control Experimentation. This has been passed around the Internet and over thousands of domain sites over the past 15 years. Can you tell us how someone can get a hold of this publication? To be informed about this?
It's not copyrighted. All they need to do is plug in my last name, McKinney, and type in the title microwave harassment and mind control experimentation, and innumerable sites will appear, and just read it from there. Gives you a good insight as to what the pattern is when the harassment begins.
Now, let me just spell your name so people are going to do that. It's McKinney,
That's
McKinney,
right.
And then it's
McKinney.
microwave harassment and mind control experimentation from an authority in the field. I guess since 1981, have you seen, I guess a question I wanted to ask, from 2001, have you seen any, from the time of 9/11, has there been an increase in the last 4 or 5 years with this type of, that you've seen, with the number of people contacting you, the widespread, has it been more widespread during this time since 9/11?
Not since 9/11. When I would say back in the early 90s, I've seen a tremendous expansion of these activities since the early 1990s, and it has moved forward in consistent fashion, become ever more sophisticated and ever more widespread. There was no sudden burst or flurry of activity since 9/11.
And you have no help whatsoever with the political arena in this, correct? The politicians will not touch this with a 10-foot pole?
That's right. And even those who purport to be liberally inclined, and I'm speaking about members of the Democratic Party, will not touch it because, quote unquote, and they know what's going on. They simply don't have the funds to be able to pursue it. All sorts of humma excuses will be furnished for not pursuing something like this. And before you close, and I hear the music in the background.
Well, you can stay another minute if you want.
Okay.
It's up to you. Why don't you come back for 2 minutes on the other side of the break, and then we'll finish up, okay?
Okay.
Okay, back with Julian McKinney in 3 minutes on the Investigative Journal. Say something at the break.
Oh, I did. I want to thank you very, very much for taking on this subject. There are so few people in the media. As a matter of fact, you're the only one I know of who has the guts to address it.
And you know, it really doesn't. And I just in defense of every media person, I don't think it's guts in a sense. Maybe it is. I don't consider myself having guts in this issue. I consider it to be an issue that you need to take time to understand it, and that's what I would recommend to the people in the media that haven't touched this issue. If it isn't being downright censored by someone above you, then at least take the time to talk. I'll spend time talking to you about it because it took me a little while to figure it out, and I'll tell you what, it's people like you that need to be applauded because it's your efforts that are bringing this to the forefront. You're laying the credibility on the line, but I thank you anyway for your kind words. And with that, I wanted to say goodbye to you, and we'll have to move on, and we'll have you on again to talk about this, and thank you so much.
And thank you very much.
Okay, that was Julian McKinney, and she was as an authority on the use of electronic weaponry, microwave weaponry, and she was with us for the last hour and a half. And we're going to continue.